fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to do a quick video on two of the kind of appeals that companies use in their advertisements. You have the informational appeal. With 700,000 subscribers, 160 million views, Wolters World tries to help people travel better with honest travel advice, advice on living abroad, advice on studying abroad, what you need to know before you go, and a lot more. From culture shocks to culture do's and don'ts, everything you need to know about travel and living abroad is on our website or on our YouTube channel, so check it out. And then you have the emotional appeal.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
And you see, each one of these appeals does go for a different kind of effect. If you're looking at an informational appeal, like what are we sharing here? Well, in an informational appeal, what you do is you really offer facts. Our product does X, Y, and Z. The results of our products are X, Y, and Z. You give these things, you state these facts. You're offering these key benefits, right? That value proposition we talked about. This is where you're really telling them what's so great about your product. You're listing it out there for them. And when you do that, it really makes it easier for people to kind of compare versus your competition. So if you do have a sustainable competitive advantage or just a short-term competitive advantage over your competitors, this is where you can really put it out there and say, look, we do last 10 times longer than our competition. Just giving the information out there, the appeal to your senses. Why would you get it better? That doesn't last the longest, right? And so you have that. And then the other side, you have that emotional appeal.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
And I don't know about you, but you see that and you're like, well, what we're doing here is we're really focusing on the emotional desires instead of their kind of needs to get a product done. That's the whole idea of, sex sells and humor sells. I mean, how many times have you seen an ad and it made you laugh? What does laughing have to do with eating Doritos? I don't know, but those Doritos are pretty funny, so it makes me want to get some Doritos. You have that, and so what we try to do is we try to kind of satisfy emotional needs and emotional desires with these emotional appeals, because emotions really do kind of create a bond between the customer and the brand. That's why people love Wendy's Twitter feed, because that emotional burn she'll give people, you're like, oh, that's so cool, and you feel connected to it. Those emotions kind of things people grasp onto. So that's why the whole sex sells, the whole humor sells. That's why we're using that appeal. And the thing is, it's not just sex sells and humor sells. Also, safety, fear sells. I mean, there's a lot of ads you might see out there that scare people into doing things. How many times have you seen the commercials for security systems? They're like, oh, are you worried that someone's going to break into your house when you're away? Or if your kids are home alone, are you worried that someone's not there? Get our Hawkeye system that will watch and see who comes in your house. They're using that emotional appeal of fear to get you to want to buy. Okay, so we kind of think about these things, and there's a number of ads out there. I remember a few years ago on the Super Bowl there was Nationwide Insurance, and I always call it the dead kid ad. I'm sure in the notes it still says that. And what they did, it was this little boy talking about all these things about growing up. Oh, I wanted to go see the world. I wanted to be an astronaut, but I wanted to get married. I wanted to get cooties. I didn't want to get whatever, blah, blah, but I couldn't, because I died in a household accident. You're like, oh man, what a downer. But the emotional appeal of that was look, pay attention to this. It really got people to, pay attention going after the emotional appeal. But you got to be careful, because eventually people become dull to the emotional appeal sometimes. So you got to be careful with it. That's why what you'll see is companies will actually sometimes use a mix of the informational appeal and the emotional appeal, because sometimes the emotional appeal will get you interested, but then the information appeal is what seals the deal. It's wow, that sounded really fun. It's like Doritos. It's hey, that was a pretty funny ad, and they've got nacho cheese flavor. I like nacho cheese flavor. It gives you that extra little bit. So make sure you're kind of using a little bit of both. And if you've seen ads out there that use the sex sells or the informational appeal, let us know in the comment section below, so we can have a discussion about some of the better ads out there that really get people, that really resonate with people. So I wish you all the best, and until next time, bye.